This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So before we get into our core SCM part, what are the prerequisites or common configuration to work on any applications that we created? That is nothing but primary ledger. We created primary ledger and we completed the primary ledger, and hope everyone is clean on this primary ledger definition with very high level. You don't need to go in depth because we are not going to design any solution for primary ledger or chart of accounts for any client being a SCM consultant. That is job of finance consultant. So but anyway, when you are going to work on any instance to start with SCM, the dependencies, this primary ledgers, and also we know now how to create it. So since we created this primary ledger, we'll try to access the primary ledger and we'll pass one journal so that we can close the portion of finance part. Directly we can move on to our SCM. Okay, so we created primary ledger and all. Whether it is working fine or not, we'll verify. By passing the journal, you can justify that. Okay, to access any application transaction process, we have to assign the roles to the user. So we have a user called as ERP tree user. For ERP tree user, we assign few roles. Okay, which roles we assign? We assign primarily 3 roles, which will give the complete access to that user to perform the relevant business transaction, to perform the relevant configuration. Those 3 roles are the application, I think I mentioned here, the application implementation consultant for FSM access, IT security manager for users, and employee for running the reports on self-service access. So now, if you want to allow the same user to have access to GL functionality, if you want to allow the user to create one journal in GL, we have to assign GL specific roles. These are not any application specific roles, right? These are not application specific roles. These are the roles which are required for any consultant to do the implementation. So in the same way, if you want to allow any user to have access to purchasing application, we have separate roles for purchasing. To allow the user for inventory functionality, we have inventory roles. In the same way, for each and every application, we have a separate roles. Now I'll take you through the GL roles. What are the roles we have for GL, and what are the primary ledger we created? We'll connect to that primary ledger and we will enter one journal, then we'll close that ledger part and we'll proceed with our SCM area. And whatever we are going to do in the today's session, it will be like some introduction which is applicable for any application. So whatever we do for GL, that same is applicable for any application. Once we get into purchasing inventory, the same will be repeating. Okay, and before that we'll see the journal creation under just posting the journal. The reason is the ledger, primary ledger is created by us. We'll go and make sure that is working fine. That would be proof of the definition as went well. Okay, so we'll just see what we do is, if you want to allow the user, the current user, to have access to this primary ledger, that you can do through roles assignment only. For any application, this is applicable. For any application, you deal with any application, purchasing, inventory, order management, or APR, GL, any application, the process remains same. What is the process? We'll see. So first we have to assign the GL roles to the user. Since we want to connect to GL application, we have to assign the GL roles. Say next task is assign GL roles to user. So we assign 3 roles to the user. Those are common roles for implementation consultant which are required. But now to allow the same user for GL related transaction area, okay, transaction related access, we are assigning the application specific roles to the user. Okay, we'll assign GL roles to user. So one of the GL role is, for example, general accountant. So we'll assign this role to user called as ERP tree. This is equal to assigning responsibility. Any responsibility, take for example any responsibility, purchasing responsibility, inventory responsibility, or GL responsibility, or AP responsibility. ERP. So equal to assigning responsibility to user, we are assigning role to user. Responsibility will be specific to application, right? It could be AP responsibility, GL responsibility, or PO responsibility, any responsibility. I'm just taking example of GL responsibility. We assign GL responsibility to user, or we assign PO responsibility to user. When you assign the PO responsibility to user, just responsibility only, I'm talking about just responsibility, no other assignments I'm talking about. Just you create a responsibility, you are assigning the responsibility to user. Will this user able to record the transactions in that responsibility? If you take example of PO responsibility, will that user is able to create the requisitions and purchase orders? Yes or no? If yes, why? No means why? Anyone please.
No,
Unless otherwise
because
profile option is assigned, it is not possible for the respective operating unit.
Yeah, Vidyanathan, please go ahead. What is your answer?
Sir, unless otherwise we assign the security profile option, he may not be in a position to do the transaction for the particular MO operating unit.
Yeah. Security profile not by default. MO operating unit. You have to assign
Yes, sir.
MO
MO
operating
operating unit.
unit. Operating unit you have to assign to that responsibility. Otherwise, even if you assign that responsibility to user, doesn't work. If you talk about especially GL responsibility, for GL responsibility we don't assign operating units, right? We assign only primary ledger.
Apart,
Yes.
apart from this, GL data access set profile has to be also assigned. Which data access set he is accessed?
No need to assign that. System will assign. We never assign that.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what. If you don't know, no need to answer, please. That's what. So if just whatever the general understanding you have, just I am asking. That's all. Don't take in other way. Fine. So the point is, if you assign the responsibility,
Lakshman, sorry, when the responsibility is created, MO profiles will be assigned, right?
no. We
By
have to
default,
assign. We have to assign.
okay.
Nothing will be assigned to any responsibility if you create. Everything you have to assign. There are few profile options. If you set one profile option, other profile option, system will assign automatically. That is there. Say for example, you are assigning HR security profile. Automatically system will assign business group. If you assign GL ledger name profile option to responsibility, automatically system will assign GL data access set. That's how we have. Automatically nothing will be assigned. We have to do one, other system will do it. Okay. Anyway, it's a simple point to understand. Okay, it is simple point to understand. If I take example as this is PO responsibility, what we have to assign to PO responsibility to work on the PO responsibility? We have to assign. Let's talk about our GL because we are using the term called as responsibility. We'll go with that example. Okay. Operating unit and primary ledger, right? With MO operating unit profile option, we assign operating unit to responsibility. With the GL ledger name, we assign primary ledger to responsibility. Otherwise, if you are just assigning your responsibility user cannot perform any transactions. The same logic is applicable in the Fusion also. Same logic is applicable. In Fusion, EBS responsibility, but here role. So you are going to assign the general accountant role to ERP tree user. The general accountant role is, and one more example I'll take here. So PO example we taken for PO responsibility, we have to assign OU and PL. Why we have to assign OU to PO responsibility? Purchasing application stands at operating unit level. It has to be mapped at OU. That is the reason we are assigning. And now my responsibility is GL responsibility in EBS. So GL application stands at what level as per multi-org? Primary ledger level. That is the reason only you have to assign primary ledger to GL responsibility. Okay, only you have to assign primary ledger to GL responsibility. In the same way, if you have any GL related role which is assigned to the user, to that role you have to assign primary ledger. You have to assign primary ledger to that role. So this is what we have to do. Okay, this is what we have to do. For user, we have to assign the specific responsibility, and to allow that user to work on that responsibility with a specific primary ledger access, we have to assign the primary ledger to the same role here in case of Fusion. So this is what we have to establish. In general ledger, EBS, if you have idea, please tell me, otherwise ignore my question. You have some that level of understanding related to GL, you can answer. So I have a GL responsibility. I will assign primary ledger to GL responsibility by using GL ledger name profile option. By using GL ledger name profile option, I'll assign primary ledger to GL responsibility. When we do this, what system will do? Anyone, if you have this idea information, if you know this information, please. Otherwise, no issues. We'll discuss. If you assign primary ledger to GL responsibility by using GL ledger name profile option, what system will do automatically? Any idea? If anyone from finance background or who knows the basic finance, or even you may be from SCM background, you might have observed this point. What system do? Any idea?
Does it assign OU automatically?
No. How OU is related to GL ledger? No. And one more point, let me ask you one question. The same happens in EBS and Fusion also. When you create primary ledger, it can be in EBS or Fusion, automatically system will create something with the same name. Say for example, we are creating primary ledger as ERP3 USA primary ledger.
Business group, actually.
And that is the reason I'm talking about. Otherwise, don't think these are finance related. Okay. So when you create the primary ledger, say I created a primary ledger called as ERP3 USA primary ledger. This could be in EBS or Fusion, anywhere. If you create primary ledger, automatically system will create something else. What is that?
Business group.
Security.
No.
Data set.
Security profile.
Security profile, no. You see,
Business group, Lakshman.
No. These are very specific to GL. No
Data
guess.
set.
No,
Data set,
if you
right?
have idea, you can answer. No issues. Because
You said data set. Just
sorry,
data set.
data set.
Yes.
Data set, not exactly the name. Data access set. Right? System creates data access set automatically. Whenever you create the primary ledger, system will create the data access set, the same name. Okay, try to understand these points. If you are not getting, ignore it, no issues. If you understand, you can just you can get some command on that area. Otherwise, no issues. It won't stop us
It
Working
happens
from
both in EBS and Fusion, Lakshman.
Yeah, it happens in EBS and Fusion. In Fusion, we'll see. Go and see also now. Yeah. We created primary ledger, right? We'll go and see our primary ledger first. To check our primary ledger, task name is primary ledger, right? Because this logic is related to our operating unit and business unit also. That is the reason I'm talking about it. Otherwise, I don't want to waste your time. Just to correlate, I'm talking about it. Okay, you can go with any task. Since we are working on SCM side, you can go with the task. Here you can see our primary ledger, right? ERP3 USA primary ledger. I'll open the same instance in the different tab. Same, go to our project. Search for the task called as data access set. We only created our primary ledger, right? It's not created by someone else to assume they might have created something else. No, we only created this primary ledger from the scratch. Everything we created, and finally we created primary ledger, right? Fine. So go to project, search for data access set. Data access set. You can click on any one of the task, any one of the path. This is related to GL only. That is the reason they are not giving in the procurement side. So manage data access sets. Click on go to task icon. Can you see our primary ledger in the data access set also? Yes. ERP3 USA primary ledger. Okay, when you create the primary ledger, automatically system will create the data access set with the same name. Okay, automatically system will create the same name. The same name system will create the data access set. First point, that's what we have done. So this is what we are discussing. So when you create the primary ledger with the same name, system will create the data access set. Yeah, please.
Lakshman, is it like the instance name or again the ledger name? It will be ledger name, right?
Instance name what? You know the
Okay,
difference between instance and ledger, right?
CO, okay, COA. Okay, I just got confused. So I think same thing. I think I told that GL data access set profile, it will be automatically assigned, or like you need to assign it.
So what we discussed here, when we create, it will create. Okay.
It will create and assignment.
It will create. That is the point. I'll explain next further points for our understanding. Okay. What we are discussing, when you create the primary ledger, system will create the data access set automatically. That is the first point. Okay. Now the second point, we have seen the proof also in Fusion also. Same happens in EBS. When you create the primary ledger, it will create the data access set also with the same name, same privileges it will have. Done. Now with the GL ledger name, we have to sorry, we have to assign our primary ledger to responsibility. What is our primary ledger name? We'll just change the name. ERP3 USA primary ledger. Okay. When you assign this ERP3 USA primary ledger to GL responsibility, I'm talking about EBS. Same logic is applicable for Fusion. Slightly they changed. We have to understand that. When you assign ERP3 USA primary ledger to GL responsibility by using this profile option, what system will do is automatically it will assign our primary ledger. The same, we are creating the primary ledger and we are assigning with this profile option. When you assign, automatically system will assign this data access set to same responsibility. Automatically will assign with the help of GL data access set profile option. By using this profile option, system will assign the data access set ERP3 USA primary ledger. It will assign. Okay, so we have GL responsibility. To the GL responsibility, we are assigning the primary ledger by using the GL ledger name. Whenever you do this activity, automatically system will do the activity called as, it will assign the data access set to same responsibility with the help of this profile option. This is done by system automatically. We don't do it. Now we'll talk about our area. We'll compare. Say you have PO responsibility and we are assigning operating unit to this PO responsibility by using MO operating unit profile option. We are assigning our OU to our PO responsibility. And for the same, by using MO security profile option, you are assigning security profile to your OU responsibility. If you don't have prior knowledge on this, no issues. Who has some understanding about it, they can answer. So MO operating unit we assign to the responsibility. Our operating unit we assign to responsibility with MO operating profile option. And another example I am taking, we are assigning the security profile to PO responsibility by using MO security profile option, right? This is what we do based on the requirement. So in this case, this responsibility will have access to this operating unit or the security profile, anyone please. I'm talking about EBS.
Operating unit.
Okay, that is your answer.
Yes.
Any other answers?
The security profile for multi-org.
Security profile.
Security profile only.
So what?
No, actually, if you are assigning the security,
that is the answer. Security profile only. System will give the high preference. The precedence wise, first it will look at if any security profile option is associated that responsibility or not. Any responsibility. It is not applicable for GL. This OU means operating unit. MO security profile for only subledger application, OU specific module only. So when you assign the operating to responsibility with MO operating unit and MO security profile, the responsibility will get connected to security profile only. If security profile is not there, it will get connected to MO operating related operating unit which you associated. That's how it works. That we know very well, who are aware of it. If you are not aware of it, leave it in EBS, no issues. So that means finally, if you have these two, system is taking the preference to security profile only. But in EBS case, in GL case, when you assign, automatically it will assign data access set to GL responsibility, and this GL responsibility also will give the importance to GL data access set only. The GL responsibility will have access to GL data access set only, not to our primary ledger profile option. However, it is happening here. Here MO operating unit and MO security profile. The responsibility will get connected to MO security profile related security profile only. If it is not there, it will connect here. But here, whenever you assign this, it will be assigned by system automatically. This response will get connected to our primary ledger only. Reality, it's not primary ledger. This is a data access set, which is created by system automatic with the same name. That means you tell me GL responsibility is connecting to primary ledger or data access set.
Data access set.
Data access set only. That happens in EBS. But when you create the primary ledger, automatically data access set will be created. This happens in EBS and finance. But when you assign the primary ledger to responsibility, this will get assigned. This happens only in the EBS. In Fusion, what they did is, why to assign the primary ledger? When system is going to assign automatically this GL data access set, and finally the responsibility logic will connect to GL data access set only. So we assign this, system will connect to this. Instead of doing this, what Oracle did is, in the Fusion, instead of assigning the primary ledger to, in Fusion, instead of responsibility here, we are calling as role, right? So instead of assigning the primary ledger to GL role, we assign directly data access set to role in the Fusion application. That's how they changed. Even if you assign the primary ledger to the role, automatically EBS logic is automatically it will assign same primary ledger with the same name data access set to the role, and finally there is no use of primary ledger name. It will get connected to data access set only. Because of that reason, so EBS logic they completely removed.
Lakshman, if I assign only GL data access set, if I assign only GL data access set in EBS, not the primary ledger, will it not work to the responsibility? Only I assign GL data access set, but not the GL ledger name profile.
You should assign primary ledger. System will verify that first. Okay. You should assign. It's a mandatory. On top of it, you can manage the same data access set you can use, or else you can have a custom data access set also. That's how it works. Okay. You may use MO security profile for your responsibility PO, but before that you should set MO operating unit. That's it. That is a fundamental rule. Right.
If suppose we should compulsory we should assign MO operating unit to the PO responsibility. Other than if you are assigning MO security profile, this is the first preference. So you take the higher preference.
Security profile only.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Correct.
Yes. Fine. So why you are creating security profile? The MO operating unit, you can give access to any operating unit to only one operating unit, right?
Yes, you are correct. Yes.
So your requirement may be you by default standard definition. Going forward, you may want to change the privileges. So maybe 2 business units, 3 operating units, 4 operating access, group them and assign. That's it. But the fundamental definition should remain. That has to be there. Fine. Done.
Thanks.
So this is how it works. You assign operating unit responsibility, but system won't use operating unit. It will connect to data access set, which will be assigned by system automatically. That is the reason in Fusion they change the logic. What they are doing is, for equal to responsibility, we have a roles in the Fusion. Now we are talking about one of the GL role, general accountant. So to this, we never assign primary ledger. We assign data access set. We have to assign data access set. Data access set is created against our primary ledger only. When you see the data access set, name is as it is. That's what we discussed. We verified also now. So that is the point we have to understand. Okay. Now we are going to assign data access set to GL roles. This is what you have to do in GL related roles, GL related application, and AP, PO, AR, OM. For any application, you take any application, same logic is applicable. Okay, so in case of GL, data access set system will assign in GL EBS case. That is the reason we do this. And when I talk about subledger applications, operating unit we assign over there. In Fusion also same way, operating unit we are calling as business unit will assign. Okay, now the point you have to understand, GL case, why we are not assigning the primary ledger to role. The reason in EBS, if you look at EBS logic, EBS, even if you assign the primary ledger, automatically system will assign the data access to same responsibility. Responsibility will get connected to data access only, not to ledger. That is the reason in Fusion directly will assign the data access only. No use of primary ledger. They removed the rule you have to assign the primary ledger to GL related roles, because GL stands at, general ledger stands at primary ledger level when you look at multi-org structure or enterprise structure as per Fusion applications. Okay, now what we are going to do, first we'll assign GL roles to user. Okay, and then we assign data access set to the user associated roles. Assigning data access set to GL roles we call as data access. Yes, we are giving the data access. Which data access? Ledger access. In the same way, when we are working on the subledger application PO also we call as a data access. Data access means BU access. Inventory point of view, data access means inventory access. We'll see those, we'll understand. So it would be like some introduction, how we can get connected to the application, how it works. We can understand other side, our ledger, what we created, we'll be able to test it. That is the reason I am just showing all these points, otherwise not required. Okay, the logic you can understand. Okay, once we get into, we'll start with our application today itself. Okay, our area. So from now we won't be discussing the finance related, but these are important to know. That is the reason just we are talking about. So as an individual consultant also you'll be able to start with your SCM implementation if you are aware of it, without having keeping some request to other team to create primary ledger and all. You can ask them, just send me how many segments, etc., etc. You will be able to create. You can complete all the, you can ask how many legal entities required, etc. You can create it. That's all. Fine. First we have to assign the GL roles to user. After that, for GL assigning the roles to the user, you have to connect your primary ledger to those roles. That we call as data access. We have to provide the data access for user roles, which is equal to assigning primary ledger to responsibility in EBS. Data access for user. We'll see this. After completing this, we know very well, after doing any role assignment, we have to run the LDAP job. Run LDAP job. After running LDAP job, everything will get synchronized. Complete information will get updated in the LDAP directories. These points we discussed already. After that, just we'll test one journal, we'll pass one journal and we'll test our primary ledger, because this is created by us. We'll make sure that it is there is no issue with that. Since we are testing, we can do it. In the real instance, production instance, we don't know, nobody will do it, but just to test so that we can make sure that our ledger is working fine. So after that, we'll open GL periods, then we'll create journal and we'll post it, then we can forget about this finance part. That's all. So our primary ledger would be ready. We can start with our SCM part. Done. So any questions here, please?
Question, Laxman.
Please ask question directly. Just that's what I was telling. Please don't mind. So you don't need to say you have question or hi Lakshman, something not required. Please don't take in other way. Okay.
So the data access now, it will cover the it's equivalent in EBS for both profile options. And GL ledger name and
no 1 second. Yeah, got you. Profile option concept remains same, but for this logic also in EBS we use profile option, but that part they replaced with a data access set only for GL. For other applications we have, like I'll show you when you do this task you can understand. this task. Okay, what we could do with the profile options, without profile options we can do here, but you can find the similarity. The naming convention they changed. Again, profile option concept we have, but we are not using where we use in EBS. EBS case, to assign the primary ledger to responsibility, we use profile option. To assign the operating unit to responsibility, we use profile option. But here, we don't use for these two cases and many other cases. We'll come to know. That is the reason just I'm taking you through this part. Okay, you can understand. The same logic is applicable for our inventory, purchasing, order management, for any other application. We'll see and you can understand. Still, if you have any questions, sure, you can raise your question. Fine, we'll go and see. So for every application, Oracle is providing the seeded roles. For every application, Oracle is providing the seeded roles.
Lakshman, our ledger is not yet assigned to our role, right? GL role, right?
Correct.
You are going to do that?
Yeah, that's what. This is a task.
Okay.
Data access. Okay. If you want to assign the ledger to our role, first role need to be assigned to user. That is the first step. Okay, this is the first step. The second step is this. This we have to connect again. Sorry. Fine. First we have to assign the role to user. That's what we are going to do. That's what I written here. Assign GL roles to user. Now we are going to test our ledger. That is the reason GL roles I am taking. When we are working on purchasing roles will assign to user. Inventory roles. OM roles. That's how we have to assign. Clear? Fine. So for every application, to work on the application process, the business process, Oracle is providing the seeded roles. Okay. So when we work on purchasing, inventory, order management, I'll show you where you can see how many roles Oracle is providing the seeded. I'll take you through that information. Since it is a GL, I'll directly tell you the names and we'll go and assign those. For GL, they are providing the 5 roles. Roles means job roles. We know duty roles we cannot assign to any user. Only the roles which we can assign to the user is job roles only. For GL, Oracle is providing the 5 roles. First, we'll go and assign those 5 roles to the user. Okay, 5 roles to the user. We'll see the first task. For general ledger application, Oracle is providing 5 seeded roles. What are the roles? How to assign? We'll see. When you are working on our SCM area, I'll show you where you can find for which application, which roles Oracle is providing, from where you can, how you can get to know. I'll take you through that information. Since it's GL, we don't need to give that much importance, but just we'll try to perform these basic things. Fine, done. So go to application. From where you can assign the roles to user. You know very well. From where?
Security console.
That's all. From security console only we can assign the roles. Okay, there is some alternative way also, but it's not applicable for everything. Okay, that also we'll discuss. Go to security console. So under tools, in the navigator under tools, we have security console task, which we are getting because of IT security manager role. Click on security console. Okay, go to users. Find our user. I just created in this environment as a Go ERP3. The display name I given as ERP3. That's what is displayed. This is our user, current user. Now click on the user login name. So 3 roles only we assign, the same you can see. Now we are going to assign GL roles to this user. It may not be that much important for us when you are working as a SCM consultant, but I'm taking you through. Just you try from your side at least once. Later you can completely ignore it. Anyway, it will be there as just information for you to understand. Okay, done. Now we'll go and assign the GL roles.
This user is implementation user, Laxman, right?
Sorry?
Implementation user.
Correct. Current user is implementation user.
So we don't know the employee name for this user.
See, we didn't create any employee user. We don't need to think on it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
We created this user, right? ERP tree user, and we assign these 3 roles. We are working from that user only, right? From beginning.
Yes.
Same, no changes.
Okay.
I'm not doing anything offline. Other instance we created as ERP tree, but we changed instance. That is the reason I given the go ERP tree. Reason is I made a plan of creating ERP tree user with employee user. That is the reason. This user for temporary purpose only. That is the reason I named it as a go ERP tree. That's all. Okay. So this user we created, whatever we have seen in the classes, that only remain. Nothing I did offline. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
If there is any need to do, I'll do it. I'll tell you. Before that also, I'll let you know so that there won't be any confusion. Fine. So click on add role. We know how to assign the roles. We assign 3 roles to the user. Same process. We have to assign the GL roles to this user so that this user will be able to work on GL application. This user can connect to our primary ledger. So GL roles. You may make a note. General accountant. Okay, general accountant. So we discussed about data roles, right? Anyone? Data roles.
Automatically, system will create a role if BU is there for that particular BU. Data.
And even primary ledger also, right? Anything. It could be inventory or BU or primary ledger.
Sure. All the roles, which is at what level role?
What do you mean by data role?
Data role is like a role where, I mean, whatever level that particular function is working at, that level, it will automatically create a role and having access to that particular entity. Maybe a primary ledger for a general ledger accountant role, maybe a BU for a BO guy role.
Yeah, simple. Point is simple. The role is belongs to which application. The application is mapped at what level as per multi-org structure or enterprise structure. Those will be mapped. The role is purchasing role. Okay. Whenever you create the business unit, automatically the BU will get assigned to PO roles, right? Purchasing roles. If you create inventory organization, for inventory related roles, inventory will get assigned. If you create the primary ledger, the primary ledger will get assigned to GL related roles automatically. That's what we discussed, right? Those roles are not applicable from release 12 onwards. But in the current screen, can you see any data roles? Do you think something you can see data role?
You can see ledger level, it is there, general accountant for everything.
Gaurav, your connectivity is not at all good. Please. Anyone, please. Anyone can see the data roles, on the current screen page. Anyone? Please respond so that we can discuss.
China, Canada, these are all related to data roles.
How can you say?
These are individual country-specific ones, which will be corresponding to.
That is the point. Data role means we discuss combination of role and primary ledger, or combination of role and business unit, or combination of role undo inventory, right? That's what we discussed. Now that is applicable here. You can see the combination of role undo primary ledger. That is the reason that is a data role. The first one is job role, general accountant. Below general accountant role name, primary ledger is Australia primary ledger. The next one is general accountant role, Belgium primary ledger. Role plus primary ledger, that combination we can call as data role. If it is a sub ledger related or say purchasing, maybe purchasing manager and business unit. That combination we call as data role. Now you can see the data roles here, right? But what we discussed, data roles concept is not applicable from which version?
Till 11, you said.
From 12 not applicable, till 11 only. Till 11 only data roles concept is applicable. From 12 onwards, no. Current version is which version we are using? 13.
13, yes.
But we are able to see data roles in 13 also. The reason is the Australia primary ledger, Belgium primary ledger, Canada, China, these all definitions are part of Vision instance. These are all created in the very, very older versions. And from that 9 to 10 they upgraded, 10 to 11 they upgraded, 11 to 12 they upgraded, 12 to 13 they upgraded. The environment which we are using, this is a upgraded environment to latest version. So that is reason in the older version time, whatever these data roles are created, those remain same. Whatever the new primary ledger you create for that, data roles concept is not applicable. Whatever the new business unit you create, data roles concept is not applicable. So these are migrated data roles from the older versions. That is a point we have to understand. Same you can see for business units also. Okay. So these got generated in the older version itself. So the same instance Oracle upgraded to latest version. In the latest version, as per the roles concept, there is no data roles. What? But still we are able to see why these are not created in this version. In 12 or 13, in the older version, those are created, migrated, those are available. We don't need to do anything with that. Clear?
Yeah, I understand. But what's supposed to be here other than data role? Then what could be?
Nothing, job role only. When you are working for your client, you will see only this name if you search with this.
General accountant.
Yeah, nothing you will see. These all are created by Oracle as a part of Vision instance. In fresh instance, if you search for general accountant, only general accountant. That's
right.
All. That's all. Fine. Done. Now select general accountant. We have 5 roles for GL. Let's say I selected. I'll just make a note in the spreadsheet because I'll be sharing the same sheet with you guys for your reference. This may be useful for you.
Lakshman, I'm a bit confused here.
Please.
In the earlier sessions, you indicated 3, like job role, data rule, and duty rules or something. I don't know. From release 11 or release 12, the duty rule is obsolete.
Oh, that's what you didn't understand the concept, so definitely you'll have a confusion.
Okay, I'll ask later. I don't want to.
Yeah. You can check that video session. Okay, 4 roles we have: job role, duty role, data role, abstract role. Till 11 we have 4. From 12th onwards, data roles are removed. Data roles. Okay, but still you are able to see the data roles here. How? The instance when it was with the older version, this got generated as a part of Vision instance. Those are carry forward with the latest version also, since Oracle upgraded by keeping the same older data as is as a Vision definition. That's it. That is the logic. Fine. So I selected general accountant. This is one of the GL role. Okay, general accountant. So you see here, role name is general accountant. Role name is general accountant. And code is different. Code is different. It is starting with ORA GL general accountant. It is starting with the GL general accountant. Both will have same privileges. What are the seeded roles Oracle is providing? For few roles, they are giving the 2 copies with the different codes. For few roles, they are giving only 1 copy with 1 code. Any one you can select. I am just preferring to select this, which is starting with the GL. Select this. You know how to assign. You have to click on that gets selected. Then click on add role membership. That means we are assigning the role to the user. We assigned general accountant. And say OK. We have 5 roles. General accounting manager, another role. See here, for general accounting manager, this is seeded what Oracle is giving. These all are vision based data. That 2 data roles which are carry forward from the prior to release 12. This instance got keep upgraded. Fine. Select general accounting manager. For your information, I'll take into spreadsheet. I'll just keep the title as a GL seeded roles. Same way for every application, our purchasing inventory also we have. We'll see when we are working on our applications. This is kind of some additional information which would be good to know. Fine, because we want to test journal creation. That is the reason we are trying to do. At the same time, we are trying to understand what are the seeded roles for GL. So, which is the same role, 2 different codes. We'll go with code which is starting with the GL. Select, assign. Add role membership means assign. Done. The background you can see assign. These 2 are assigned. Next role. Okay. So this is seeded. Remaining all are data roles which are part of vision instance only. So select. So for this, see, if you notice, they are not giving one more role, only 1 role with 1 code, which is starting with a GL. Any one only we require. Assign. Done. Sorry, this will take it. The role name is Chief Financial Officer. The other role is Controller. Controller. This belongs to which application? Within the code, you can see this belongs to which application. Okay, when you see the menus, when you see the menu, GL menus, when you look at menu name starts with the application short name, right? The same logic. Name also they are giving, but in EBS menu means normally with the code only you can see. Here name is controller, here the code is representing is GL related. Select and say assign. The other role is for GL financial analyst. Select financial analyst. The code is GL. Starting with the GL. Just say assign and click on done. So we assign GL related 5 roles to the user. General accountant, managers. Okay, and scroll a little down, you can see the 5. Okay. So these 3 roles, employee, IT security manager, and application implementation consultant, doesn't require access to any ledger or any business units. Those for configuration purpose. But when I talk about GL roles require access to ledger. Okay, now we have to assign our ledger to these roles. We'll see that. Okay, so we discussed this point, right, in the EBS how it works. So that is the reason we created a primary ledger. Against the primary ledger, system will create data access set automatically with the same permissions. Now the data access set only we assign to the five roles.
You
Okay,
missed the last one in the Excel, next one.
Sorry?
Financial analyst you just added in the Excel under controller.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you. Financial analyst. Okay. Fine. So we created a primary ledger, but primary ledger we are not going to assign to our five roles, GL roles. Against the primary ledger, what are the data access set system created? Data access set only we assign to our roles, but ideally we call it as a primary ledger only. Reality, that is a data access set. But we say we assign primary ledger to roles, GL roles and all we call. Okay, but in the background, the reality system process, that is the name is data access set only. It looks, when you look at that, it is same name as this. Otherwise, if you want to see the difference, you can do small change to your data access set. You can change the name. Okay, you may just edit the name and that will reflect. If they are giving editable, you can do that. 1 second. So no issues in that definition time. You can see what we are assigning also. That option also we have. You don't to go with this testing, not required. So simple task, what we did, we assigned GL roles to user. 5 roles we assign, those are these. Okay, 5 roles we assign to the user. Now we have to provide data access for users. Data access for users, nothing but assign primary ledger to user roles. Here again, primary ledger means nothing but data access set. You can call directly as a data access set also. But generally usage we call as primary ledger only. So data access for users means assign primary ledger. Primary ledger means not directly primary ledger. Against that, whatever system create data access, that will assign, which is equal to primary ledger only. Assign primary ledger or say data access set to user roles. For our user, we assign these 5 roles. For the combination of user and role, we'll assign our data access set or say primary ledger. We'll see that. After when we are doing it or after completing, you can go with your questions. Yeah, please.
So I think in case of there are more than one primary ledger inside a project or like different a custom data set, then we need to create custom roles also.
If you have more than one primary ledger, what to do you are asking?
Or in case we have more than one, suppose custom data access set also, then we need to create custom roles.
Custom data access set, if you have, like you'll be assigning the custom data access set only for the role. That's it. EBS also we do the same.
Suppose X user I want to give a one X data access set, and Y user I want to give a different data access set. That is the purpose, right? Security is the purpose of having a custom data access set, right? So in that case, do I need to create 2 different custom roles?
Custom roles, no need to create roles. What is your requirement? You have X user and Y user. Tell me your requirement.
Okay, X user and Y user are there, and there are 2 different access set, data access set. Functionality wise, it is same. Suppose one is having access to some data, and Y is having access to different data.
Okay.
See, purpose of that in that case, 2 different users will be having. I want to give some access to one user and some access to another user within the same primary ledger, but data access set will be different. Like I created a custom one. So in that case, how can we handle this scenario?
Yeah, create 2 data access sets, as you said. Roles you can keep remain. See, simple point, a simple example I'll give you. You have 4 companies. Okay, you have 2 users. For first user, if you want to give the access to 3 companies, for second user you want to give access to 1 company, you have to create the 2 data access sets, and you have to assign those data access to this user related any one of the role, which role you are assigned to the user. In that case, you don't need to create the custom roles. Okay.
General accountant, user 1 will also be general accountant, user 2 also will be general accountant.
Same, you assign same role.
Okay.
Assign same role. When X user is connecting to general accountant, X user will have access to 3 companies only, because we have a separate data access which allows only 3 companies. When Y user is connecting to the application and accessing general accounting related functionality, that user will have access to the data called as only 1 company.
So if in that case the connecting point between access set and a user is a role.
No, Gaurav, you know EBS?
Yes, I know EBS.
Yeah, give me an example in EBS, I'll tell you.
See, EBS even same situation is same. The only thing like
tell me what you do, what you are not able to understand, what you can do in EBS. Tell me.
See, suppose one particular user, I want to give the access to 3 company with a GL data access set name will be different. Whatever you are saying, same scenario, let's take it. And the second user, so we'll create 2 responsibilities there, right? Or user level you assign to 2 different, because profile option can be assigned to 6 different levels.
This is a two your requirement, right? Same example you are taking.
Yes, same example. Same.
You have user X and Y, and for X user 3 companies, Y user 1 company. What you do in EBS?
So I can have 2 different GL data access set. Primary ledger maybe remains same. So I can assign at user level also GL access set, not only responsibility level.
User level
so
normally
that is the solution.
Do a responsible level. In case of EBS, will create 2 data access sets and 2 responsibilities.
Yes.
In Fusion, okay, in Fusion, you no need to do that. For the same role you can assign. Because here we do the combination. In case of EBS, data access set you assign to what? Role, right?
Right. Here we
right?
Yeah, their responsibility here role.
But here not just with the role, with the combination of user also. That is the reason you want to create one more.
Okay. That point is missing. Okay, now I understood. So both things we will assign to one. When we assigning access set, it will ask for a role as well as user also.
Yeah. That is other element which you have to understand here, that we are going to see now. In EBS, if you are assigning something to responsibility, it is just responsibility. Later, as a next step, you will be assigning to the user. But here, combined one-time activity. Okay, with a combination of data access set, role and user, you do that mapping. First step, you assign role to user. Then when you are going to assign this to this, it's not like just with this user also you have to select. That's how it will be binded. Okay, here the same logic means assign for X accounting general accountant, Y also a general accountant. So when you are doing the mapping assigning, you select 3 companies data access set, and this general accountant, this user. Next time you select 1 company data access set, general accountant, and this user. That's how it works. There is a difference in this. We'll see that. You'll understand when you see this task. Fine. Now we have a primary ledger which we created. Against that, system created data access set which is equal to that. This data access set is completely equal to primary ledger data only. So now this will be assigning to these 5 roles for our user. That's what we are going to see now. Okay. So data access for users. You have to search for the task called as data access for users. GL roles we assigned. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
The
I have one
relation
question.
between
See, any questions I'll take after completing this, please. Okay, just go to user, click on setup and maintenance. You can do it from the project or directly from search page. From anywhere you can do it. Let's do it from our project only. And go to our project. To do this activity, the task name is data access for users. Data access for users. Click on search. Here we have task. This is a common task which you can use for everything. You don't need to go for data access at separate task, business unit separate task, inventory organization separate task. And the separate tasks also we have, but there is no use. Same you can do. See the manage inventory organization data access. Manage data access set. Okay, data access and just many business unit data access set for user not required. All these tasks no use at all. So by going with the separate naming, this one task is enough. You can assign anything to the user for the roles. Go with only this task. Other tasks completely you can ignore, not at all required. Okay, task name is, just please make a note. Okay, task name is manage data access for users. Just click on this.
Lakshman, the
Okay.
task will be available.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
Task.
The task will be accessible for implementation consultant as well security manager.
This is a part of implementation project. So it's application implementation consultant. When you talk about project, that is for user will have access to this project and all only if the user has access to application implementation consultant. It is not related to security, right? If you have access to IT security manager, you can access security console, not this FSM. That's what we discussed.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, whatever you are doing within the FSM, those are because of application implementation consultant role only. Not at all related to IT security manager and employee. We are in the FSM. FSM we provisioned with the help of that role only. Yeah, done. Fine. So this is the task. Manage data access for users. Just click on this. Okay, we are on this page. Now, if you remember, if you recall how we use the profile option, same we are going to do. You can correlate. We'll see that. Okay, that is a task will be landing on this page. Just click on create. Okay. Now, normally in the EBS, these are the separate steps. Assigning your operating into responsibility, assigning the operating unit to user, separate steps. But here, one time, see here. Select your user first. You can type, you can select. Our username is Go ERP3. So what are the roles you assign to this user? Only those roles you can see from here. These roles only we assign. You can see. So for application implementation consultant, do we need to assign anything? We don't need to assign. We don't record any transaction, right? This is for configuration purpose. Okay, for sysadmin responsibility, system administrator responsibility in EBS, we don't assign anything. Just we use for configuration. Similar way, we don't assign anything. So only for GL specific roles only we have to assign the primary ledger, nothing but data access set. Okay, I'm selecting Chief Financial Officer role, the first role. So security contest, which is equal to profile option. What we have to select? Data access set. Okay, select data access set. Against our primary ledger system created data access. Data access set we are going to assign to this role for this user only. If you assign the data access set to this role, it is not going to be applicable for which user? Only this user. That condition we are defining. So which data access set we are going to assign? Same with our primary ledger name. What are the primary ledger we created? With the same name system is created, data access set the same name. What is the name? ERP tree, you can type, you can find the name. This is very similar to assigning the primary ledger to responsibility in EBS. A lot of background noise from someone. Okay. So this primary ledger, or you call as data access set only. This data access set, a primary ledger, we are assigning to this role, which is mapped for only this user. This you can treat as equal to profile option. With a profile option only, you can connect, right, anything in EBS. Similar logic they given. Here, any question, please?
What level this profile options works? Like EBS, we have 6 different levels. Here, what level do we have?
Gaurav, I'm really sorry. I cannot accept any questions here. Your connectivity is very poor, but your intention is same. Okay. If anything is there, we'll discuss after class, please. So you can ask n number of questions. I don't have issue, but it is we have to understand your question, right? All the time I cannot keep trying to understand it. It has to be audible and it has to be clear, so that it will be easy for me and other participants also. I don't want to trouble others also with your questions. Questions in the sense connectivity is very poor. It's voice is breaking, no clarity. Please. Any questions from others? I don't take from you.
The relation primary ledger and
Yeah.
data access is one-to-one or one-to-many?
Against one primary ledger, system will create only one data access set. As per your requirement, you can create a number of also. By default, it creates one copy of data access set against one primary ledger. But you can create a number of data access sets as per your requirements. Okay.
So here it will show the other created under security context value. You will see all data access.
You can see when you are assigning any profile option to so and so responsibility, also you see in LOV, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see in LOV. Again, those what they did is for based on the role also they display. Okay, based on the role also display, but reality these are not related to this. All business unit related to general ledger, no. But ideally they are giving access, but we should know for what to assign, right? That we have to understand. That's all.
Yes. Okay.
So in instance we can do many things, but we don't do however it is possible. How it should be done, we'll do in that. That's all. They should have given the control here. The security context they should display related to GL related roles only. That means GL application specific given. But in few cases they are restricted. For few roles they are left open. That's the reason all these are coming. Any other questions here?
This normally after creating the GL ledger, what we'll do, we'll create the instance. If you want to use in Fusion, we have to create the instance. That is the main functionality we did in a couple of sessions before. But here there is we're not considering any.
What is that?
After creating the primary ledger, we want to use the primary ledger. We created the instance we created according.
We created instance, nothing but a chart of account. Chart of account against chart. We created instance with that and calendar, currency, chart of accounts, currency, calendar, currency and accounting method and instance. We created primary ledger. When you create the primary ledger, system create security data access that we are assigning. That's it.
Assigning to this. Okay, correct.
Yeah, done. Any questions here, please? When we are working for purchasing, for example, same process. You select here user, you select purchasing role, you select here business unit, you select your business unit. That's how business unit will assign to the specific user related role with the help of security context. That's all. Inventory organization. So if you want to assign inventory organization to your inventory roles, you'll select user, for example, warehouse manager role, you select here and here security contest you select as a inventory organization. Here you select your inventory. This is how it works. This logic is applicable for all the applications. We'll go and assign other roles also. Roles also the same security contest value as our primary ledger name. Nothing but data access it only. Let's call it as primary ledger, but reality that is created against our primary ledger, which we reality data access it. Fine, done. Click on duplicate. It will be creating one more record by copying some information. But anyway, role we have to change. Username you can keep as is. Click on role. Next role is controller. And data access set. Don't select ledger. Ledger is not applicable for all. Okay, only data access set. ERP tree USA primary ledger. Again, click on duplicate or else click on new. New means you have to enter user also. Click on duplicate. Next role. Financial analyst. See here they are given only data access. That's what we have to use. The rest they restricted. They should have restricted for other roles also in the same way, but they didn't do it as a part of seeded definition. Next role is general accountant. Data access set. ERP tree USA primary ledger. General accounting manager. Data access set. Then for 5 roles we assign the data access set for this user. This is what we did. Now say save and close. After completing this task also, it's recommended to run LDAP job. Okay, we have to run, otherwise anyway system will perform the auto synchronization, but it's recommended by Oracle to run it. So we'll go and run the LDAP job. Go to schedule processes, click on schedule new process. We know this process very well. When you are dealing with this LDAP job, if you have any issues, you no need to worry about it. Ignore and proceed with your further configuration. It won't impact anywhere since auto synchronization is enabled within the instance. Say okay. This already we submitted multiple times. Same we are doing. Say you submitted, it is taking too much of time to complete. You don't need to look at the status. Ignore it. Proceed. Just submit. Let it run. It may take 1 hour, 2 hours, 10 hours, or it may end with a warning or error. No issues. Don't worry about it. Other side system will be running the auto synchronization that will take care of your changes, but since there is a recommendation from Oracle, we are running. Submit and ignore it. No issues. You don't need to worry about it. Fine. This is the logo. Just this is a logo which got placed in this instance. So we completed this task. We submitted LDAP job. Okay, it won't take more than 10 minutes time. We'll complete the session. So we'll open the GL period and we'll just create one journal and post it to make sure our ledger is working fine, so that from tomorrow's session we can just get into the enterprise structure definition, enterprise how it looks like, and the BU's definition, other purchasing, inventory, and other areas of configurations. We'll start with our core process, but these are also treated as important. Fine. So what we'll do is we'll just sign out and sign in. The changes you could see as reflected. Sometimes even the changes are reflected. If there is no new session for the user connected, it may not reflect. It may take some time. So you can sign out and sign in. So we assign 5 roles. Because of the roles, system will add GL related tasks within the navigator. Go to navigator. So we'll understand all the points here, whatever you could see, what we call, what is the meaning of each and everything, all these we'll discuss. We'll discuss once we get into our purchasing application. I'll talk about it. Click on navigator. Within the navigator, system should add section called as general accounting. Yes, it added. This section under these 3 tasks we are able to see because of those 5 roles. Okay, going forward we'll see which role has which privileges and all we'll discuss as a part of custom roles definition. At the time we'll see those. But for now, so we assigned 5 roles to this user. Because of the 5 roles, these 3 tasks are added. Each task will have a number of privileges that we'll see. Okay, we assigned the roles, we provided data access for those roles, and we submitted LDAP. Now next task is we have to open the GL periods. Even if you want to record any transactions in inventory and purchasing, what we have to do? We have to open the periods in EBS, right? But Fusion not required. Inventory and purchasing, no periods concept. Everything will work by depending on GL. If GL period status is open, you can process the transactions. Anyway, in that way also, this would be useful for us how to open the GL periods and all. From where to open, how to open, which roles required to give access to opening the GL periods. So because we don't have periods concept, opening and closing period concept in the inventory application and purchasing application. In EBS, we have. You should open the inventory periods, that only you can perform the inventory transactions. Purchasing period to perform the purchasing process. Okay, that we know, but in Fusion that is not there. The inventory and purchasing will have a control with the GL periods only. But anyway, we'll go and see how to open the GL period. Now task is open GL period. After assigning these roles to the user and after running the LDAP job, go to navigator. Within the navigator, you can see new task called as this general accounting. Under that, you can see all these tasks. So click on period close. To open the period or to close the period, same task we use. That is the reason they're given as period close. From here only you can open the period also. Click on period close. If you compare with EBS opening and closing periods, here the logic is subledger period status also you can see from GL only. First we will select our data access set. This is our data access set. So we assigned 5 roles, right? Within the 5 roles, we have a few roles which has privileges to all the data access. That is the reason we are able to see all the data access sets. Even we assigned only one data access set to this user related roles. Okay, you can override those, but that is not our job. Okay, let's see how to open the periods that is required for us. So we connected to see data access set called as ERP3 USA primary ledger. So current accounting period October. So what is the status? Never opened for general ledger. Once you select, you will be landing in this page. You can click on the status. What is the first period in our accounting calendar? We only created accounting calendar, Jan 2018, right? The same system is displaying open first period. So current period is October. If you want to open October period, you have to open all previous periods, and before opening all previous periods, out of that very first period you have to open separately. Open first period, then system will allow you to open the current period. In that process, automatically will open all the periods. From Feb to current period it will open. Before that, first period should be open. Say OK. Say yes. It will run the job. You can go and see in the ESS job page. The job, the process name number is this. We don't need to go and see. We know how it runs in the ESS job page. Okay, here you can refresh to see the update. Hit this refresh icon. So it is showing Jan period status is open. You see the icon open. Here these are the icons. This icon indicates open. This icon indicates period is closed. This icon indicates permanently closed. This icon indicates future enterable. So Jan period is open. Now which period need to be open? The current period. So to open the current period,
One question. If you open October period, can't you open before that periods if you want to post previous month journals or sublet the transactions?
if you open October
October
period,
period.
you
Okay.
mean no, you mean directly opening the October period or what?
Correct.
Not possible. Not possible.
You can't open.
You cannot. You cannot. That's
Okay.
what we have seen, right? When you click on open, what it is asking open first period.
Okay.
Yeah, that is it. That is the rule. That is the rule. Okay, fine. So go to actions and say open target period. Target period is nothing but current period. We'll specify that. Click on open target period. Without opening the first period, you cannot open any period. Our target period is current period. We have to treat as a target period. October. Say open. Say yes. Now John is already open. It cannot open October period directly. It will open Feb, March, April, May. That's how it will open in the sequence, and finally it will open October. Please keep on mute. Please try to understand because we are recording. There are many participants. So if you have any question, you can unmute and you can ask. Ideally, don't unmute and don't forget after asking the question to mute, please. Done. System opened. Okay, system opened all the periods. Without opening the previous periods from the first period, it cannot open current period. That is the reason it opened. If you don't, if period status is open, you can enter the transactions. You don't need all these periods. You can go and do close these periods one by one. You can select, say, close period. Select close period. Anyway, that is not our job. Anyway, we need October period status as opened. Now just we'll go and create the journal and we'll post it and we'll close this area, these tasks. Then tomorrow session we can start with our enterprise business unit and other purchasing configuration and all. See, if you click on navigator under general accounting, you can see 3 tasks, right? The same 3 tasks you don't see from here. If you want to see, here you have a expand icon. Click on this, it will show those 3 here from here only. Now if you want to go to journals, you can go from here only. You don't need to click on navigator to go to journals. Not required. Expand, you can see. Now we are in the period close. Simply from here only you can switch to journals. We'll just click on journals. We'll create one journal and we'll post. Then we can make sure that our journal, our primary ledger is working fine. No issues with our primary ledger. Select journals. So first time we are connecting, so it is just taking some time to this journal work area. Here, whatever the task we perform, that area we call as work area. Requisitions from where you create requisition work area, purchase orders from where you create purchasing work area. That's how we treat. Okay. Journals we selected. Now to create a simple journal, okay, just for verification purpose only, that's it. Validation purpose only we are doing, otherwise not required for us. Okay, journals. This you call as task list. Okay, this icon you call as task list or task panel because it consists of multiple tasks. All these tasks we are getting because of roles which we assign to this user. GL roles we assign. Okay, many tasks. Just to create the journal, click on create journal task. Click on create journal task. Okay, just Go to task list, click on create journal task to create the journal. We'll create journal and we'll post it, and we'll close this finance related understanding. From tomorrow session only we'll be working on our core SCM, and along with that we'll be working on P2P and O2C, payables and the receivable side also. We'll just work. Fine. This is journal creation page. In EBS everything is forms, right? So this is journal batch name. You can provide batch section, journal section. These are nothing mandatory. So what purpose you are creating the journal, based on that you can provide the category here. Just I say I'm passing some adjustment journal. Okay, these names are not mandatory, optional. If you don't provide the name, system will take automatically, or else you may write the name as it is test batch and it is test journal, or some expense journal you can write. Here you have to provide debit and credit lines. Click on search. So these three segments only we created within our chart of accounts, right? So these are coming from chart of account structure instance. Select company, select department, just select account. So select cash account, sorry, we'll go with expense account. We are going to enter debit account, debit line. So search for some expense account. Expense search. Why it is showing only two accounts? Because two accounts only starting with the expense term. If you click on expand, here you can see starts with rule is there. Otherwise, if you want to find accounts which contains expense term within the name, select contains. Now search many expense accounts you can see. Okay, you can select any one of the expense account. Say okay. So debit amount is $10,000. And place cursor in the next line and provide code combination. Same directly. If you know the code combination, you can type also, or else select from this search LOV only. Company, department. We'll take the cash account, expense debit, cash credit, as we are paying for the expense which we incur. Cash account. Say okay. Just we are doing here to understand whether our primary ledger is working or not. See here is our primary ledger. So enter credit line also. Now what we have to do is we have to save this journal. If you are able to post our journal, our primary ledger is fine. If you want to, this is a batch name. Batch name is test. If you want to create one more journal within the batch, you can click on add one more journal. Multiple journals you can create in one batch, but for us not required. That is anyway just the finance people take care of it. So after saving journal, you have to complete. That means we completed the batch creation. That is the meaning of it. Within the batch, you may have one journal or multiple journals. Click on complete. Now you can post it. Once you post, what system will do? These amounts system will update against these accounts. Otherwise, it would be there as a record. That's all. No use. Click on post. Now see posting batch status as unposted. Right now it's selected for posting once you click on post. Okay, your process has been submitted. It will run the process, it will run the job, and it will update the balance, these balances against these accounts. And if you are able to see the batch status as posted, then there is no issue with our primary ledger. Just for our confirmation, since this is not our part, we are doing first time, better we can cross check whether whatever we define that is proper or not. Anyway, we'll be testing when you do the practice. Just you may click on this refresh, that will update all the information related to this ledger. Just click on refresh. It is selected for posting. It is running the process. That means it is updating these amounts with these accounts. Just click on refresh. Now see, status is batch status posted. Cool. Our ledger is fine. Whatever we created ledger from the scratch. So everything went fine. Now this ledger we can use in our SCM configuration or any configurations. So that's all. You don't need to understand about this journal creation, why, how, what is this, what is that. Not at all required. We are not going to work on it. Just for verification purpose, validation purpose, we created. So any questions from today's session, please? We done for today. Like if you want to drop from the meeting, you can go ahead. If you have any questions, you can stay back. We can discuss.
Hey, Laxman, this is Geeta.
Yep.
What session is this? Last week I sent an email saying I wasn't able to attend the entire last week due to the family issue, and I want to make sure I get all of the videos from the last week. And I'm not getting a meeting notice of it. So today after 8 o'clock, I've been trying to call. Nobody picked up the phone. After 8 o'clock, somebody responded my text. So can we make sure that I'm in the list to receive?
I'll ask them to, because I think you started attending from middle of this few classes. I guess that could be the reason. I'll talk to them to include your mail ID in that list. Okay.
Yeah, also can you make sure that I have all of the videos from the last week I wasn't able to attend?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You have instance access, right?
I do. I haven't had a chance to log in at all. Yes, I do have it. Yes.
Yeah. Anytime, any issue, you can drop email. We can work on it. Okay. For
Okay,
now,
sure.
you have no issues. Done. I'll make sure that you'll be getting the meeting link from tomorrow, and I'll be sharing the videos for the current this batch after this meeting.
Oh, okay. So what session is this? What number is it? 12?
I think 12th session. We not yet entered into our core SCM. This all what you should aware of. What is a cloud? What is from the scratch? Where to start? And all these are the basic things which we are discussing. From tomorrow's session, actually we start with the business unit creation, enterprise definition, and other setups. We'll start with the purchasing, and along with that inventory we set up. We'll see the basic process. Then we'll go through all the concepts and P2P cycle. That's how we'll keep moving on. Okay. In terms of count, it is 12th session.
Laxman, I have problem to access instance.
Sorry?
I have problem to access instance with my username.
Yeah. The same point we discussed in the class in the beginning. I have to reset the password. I'll do it after finishing this session. Within 10 minutes, you can find you'll be able to access the instance. What are the credentials we have provided with that? Okay.
Okay, thank you. You send email, right?
No need to send email. It is for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. After 10 minutes, you can check.
Lakshman, this is for like a client consulting purpose. Like, for example, the client is implementing supply chain, Oracle Cloud supply chain application, and his financial systems is in SAP. His GL is in SAP.
Yeah.
His GL is in SAP. So what do you recommend on the? Do we still need to create enterprise structure for GL as well, and transfer the GL journals to SAP? What's your recommendation basically? It's possible, right? The client may.
Not recommendation. It's not recommendation. How the solution should be, that only we'll discuss now. See, in SAP FICO, okay, finance means SAP FICO, or else simply call as FI. Okay,
right.
It's controlling, right? So here you'll have applications. So you'll have a GL APR, asset management. They have a slightly different naming convention. Let it be, no problem. So SCM, you have a inventory. Sorry, inventory or product management, whatever we call, like here PO and OM. Now to establish the procure to pay cycle, you have to integrate PO with AP, right? That
Right.
integration you have to do. And again, to establish the process of O2C.
No, sorry. Okay. If you want to, you got only GL in legacy or SAP.
No use.
No, okay.
No use, right? AP, they are going to create invoice. On what base they create if there is no integration? There will be disconnectivity.
Okay.
See,
No,
PO you create SCM.
I'm just talking about GL.
What about invoice? Where is the control? Are you going to create all invoice manually without any control process within the system?
Okay.
First of all, if this is the case, the best thing is they can go for both only one product. That is the best option. So again, there is no great advantage in client by having this challenge. Okay, done.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Fine. So any other questions?
Lakshman Vemula here.
Yeah, please.
I've been working in mainframe technology for over 10 years.
Okay.
So I want to switch on my career to Oracle.
Okay.
So how do you suggest that?
You don't have any basic knowledge on this SCM side, right?
No, because I have worked on financial domain, so I do have knowledge on financial domain.
No. But product-wise, you don't have any idea. EBS finance, you have some knowledge?
No, I don't have any EBS idea.
Okay. So we'll arrange a call. Like we'll have a call, Vemula. Okay.
Okay.
We'll allow team to give you a call. We'll talk on that. Yeah, how to go.
Sure. Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. Thanks. Any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman, hi, this is Saurabh.
Yeah, Saurabh.
Lakshman, so as per my same question, including today's class and last 3 classes are the total part of the finance consultant, right? We do not have to make such configurations.
Finance consultant, but I'm just taking you through these classes where you can understand and you can make your job very easy when you are learning this SCM for practice and all.
Yeah, that is okay. I just asked that we can just.
In reality, this should be done by a finance consultant. Yes.
Sort of, we can.
Account, private legal entity, right? This whatever the rules assignments and journal creation, testing or reality, whatever. This all should be done by SCM consultant. Last 3 or 4 sessions, I'm not sure.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Enterprise structured geographies 9th. Yeah. 9th, 10th, 11th, and today's session. 4 sessions. Reality, we don't need to do anything. This should be done by finance people. Here, for practice purpose, you can take this advantage of learning. Okay. Done. Any other questions? Fine, no questions. So we'll connect tomorrow same time, and we'll start with enterprise business units and other core SCM related configuration.